So first off, we're going to start with 2D sketching. So everyone have this screen right here, right? So go ahead and go to the top left, right here, under above the Start 2D Sketch. Go ahead and click this icon right here. Click it once, and you should get 3 different planes. These planes correspond with X, Y, Z. So it's pretty self-explanatory. The flat one is an XZ plane. This one is an YZ plane, and this one's an XY plane. So to start, we're just going to go ahead and hover over the planes until you see the XZ plane turns green. Go ahead and left click that once. Okay. So everyone has this right here, right? After they click part. So go ahead and click Start 2D Sketch up here, this icon. Don't click the drop-down menu right here. Click the icon up here, just under File. Go ahead and click that, and you should see a shape like this. Yes? Go ahead and hover over the planes until you see the XZ plane turning green, and go ahead and left click that. It should resize you to the XZ plane. All right, great. So above here, under the Create tab, you see these 4 big icons right here: line, circle, arc, and rectangle. These are basically the main tools that you're going to use to create any model. So this is like the foundation of any good model. So we're just going to go over these 4 different 2D sketches. First, we're going to go over the line tool. So go ahead and left click the line tool right here, and you should have a yellow dot following your cursor. Yep. Go ahead and hover over the origin right here until your cursor turns green, and left click it once, and you should be able to drag it out. So this, after you left click anywhere, it just creates a line for you. And you see how we can continue a line from where we ended the other line. Since we don't want to do that, go ahead and press Escape to get out of that. And you have your first line. So one cool thing, so I'm going to go ahead and undo this. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm going to go ahead and undo this and show you something cool. So first, same thing, line, hover over the origin until it turns green, click it. And before we left click, you can type in the length of the line you want. So let's make it 3 inches. And this dimensioning tool, we'll call it, automatically corrects any unit to inches unless you put in a new form of measurement. So centimeters is cm, millimeters is mm, all of that. So you can go ahead and change this to 3 inches. So you see how it's 3 inches now? And same thing, we'll go ahead and click Escape. So this tool that you just saw me use, we'll call the cube. And this changes the perspective of anything we make. We'll use this more in the 3D modeling. But for now, if you make any shape that's outside of your screen, so let's say I zoom in here, and this line is 3 inches long, but I only see, let's say, 0.5 inches of it. Go ahead and click the middle. You see how it says top here? Go ahead and left click that, and it'll resize your screen for you. So one more thing. If you want to change the dimension after you've already made the line, go ahead and double click the number that you see, and there will be an edit dimension pop-up, and you can make this anything you want. Let's make it 0.5, and you see how it shrinks down there. Again, I'll resize my screen until it fits. Okay, let's move on to the circle tool. So the circle tool is kind of tricky in the sense that you have to know the diameter of whatever you're trying to make. So go ahead and left click the circle icon, same as you did with the line. And again, let's go to the origin until your cursor turns green. Left click it once, and we can drag it out to any size we want. You see how the dotted line goes across the diameter? That's what the dimension tool dimensions. So let's say the diameter, we want it to be 2 inches. then it makes this circle 2 inches. And since we don't want another circle, let's go ahead and click escape and let's resize. So then we have our 2-inch circle right here. Remember, the number is the diameter and not the radius. Again, we can resize this by double clicking the number and hitting, let's say 1 inch, and let's click this. So you see how the line is 0.5, that's the radius of this circle. Since 1 is the diameter, half of that is 0.5. Okay, since everyone has their circle, we can move on to arc. Okay, sorry about that. So go ahead and hover over the circle until it turns green, and this time we're gonna right click it. And, oh, I guess I have to, oh, here we go. Delete up here. And your circle should be gone. Okay, so everyone should just have their line now. Let's go ahead and move on to arc. So arc, what you need is a starting point and an ending point. That's why I'm keeping the line. So first we'll draw the line that makes the arc. So we'll just follow this line that I put as 0.5 inches. But if you guys put it as another length, it's fine. So go ahead and hover over this, get the green mark. And you see how it's dotted? That's because the arc hasn't found its second ending, or the ending point yet. Go ahead and hover over this line, the ending point of this line, until it turns green. That means it's on like an intersection or a point. So go ahead and left click that, and now you should have a line. But now we can drag this line out anywhere we want. You see how we can drag it out to make an arc? Any way you want to. So go ahead, I'll just make mine 0.25 inches. I'm gonna go ahead and left click, and I should have a semicircle right here. I'm gonna press escape because I don't wanna make another arc. And if we resize, we should see our semicircle. Remember not to click finish sketch because we can't find points from other sketches. So I'm gonna go ahead and redo that. So arc, go to the origin, hover until it turns green, left click, and go to the end point. It might take a little bit, but you can hover over it. You see how it's yellow, but now it's green after I hit the end point. Right here. Left click that once, and I'm gonna set this to 0.25, enter, and I should have my semicircle. So we'll move on to rectangle. So rectangle, let's go ahead and go to origin, till it turns green. Let's go on the left side of the screen this time. So you see how it gives me the length and height both. So before we press enter, we can actually set both of these. So let's set, so you see how, the height is highlighted, right? You see how the number is changing? So go ahead, let's set it to 0.3. And before we press enter, let's click tab, which moves us to the other number. Let's set this to 0.3 also. Now we can press enter and it should give us a perfect square, just like that. So same thing as always, you can double click this, change it to any dimension you want. Let's make this 2 inches. Now we have a rectangle, yep, all of that. So those are the 4 basic ones for 2D sketches. Now let's finish the sketch, and it should bring us back to the plane screen right here. So you see how we see all 3 planes on the cube. This is where our orientation is relative to the model. So let's go ahead and play with some other planes. So we use the XZ plane, so we start another 2D sketch. Let's go XY plane this time. So hover over it until you see XY plane turning green. So you see how the XZ plane was flat. So relative to the XY plane, the XZ plane is flat. So anything we drew on the XZ plane should be flat when we go into the XY plane. So that's exactly what it is here. And let's draw a rectangle here. You can make it any size you want. I'm just gonna make it like that and hit escape since we're not gonna make another rectangle. And I'm gonna finish the sketch, and you can see how this one looks like it's upright this way, and these two look like they're flat, right? So That's how you use different planes to your advantage, because sometimes 3D modeling requires you to build things or cut things from different angles. So you know what? Let's go ahead, instead of deleting all this, let's just make a new part. So from this screen, go ahead and go up to the upper left-hand corner, click File, and go to New, and go to the arrow here, and go ahead and go down to Part here, and just click that. I think it should take less time to load up than your first one. Okay, so again, like I said before, the 2D sketches are the foundation to your 3D models. So we can't make a 3D model right off the bat. We'll have to have a 2D model or a 2D sketch to help us model the 3D model. So go ahead, let's start a new 2D sketch. Let's go ahead and click, let's go back to the XZ plane. And it should just look just like this. Now, what should we make? You guys let's make a cube. That seems really simple. So go ahead and click rectangle. Since the foundation of a cube is going to be a square, let's make a square. So hover over origin until it turns green and resize this. Let's make it 0.5 by 0.5 and enter. Go ahead and press escape since we're not going to make another square. Resize this. So everyone should have a square on their screen. Okay, let's move on. So everyone has a 2D square on their screen, correct? Let's go ahead and, so since we're done with the foundation of the cube, let's go ahead and finish the sketch. Should bring you back to this screen right here, where it shows you the 3D model or 3D orientation of the 2D sketch. Let's go ahead. Oh, if you ever get lost, you can go ahead and click, you see this house button right here? It brings you back to the front, right, and top corner. So this is the home, I guess. So if you ever get lost or you accidentally rotate something, let's say like this, rotate the wrong way, you want to get back, just go ahead and click that, and you're back here. So we're going to make our cube now. And a cube is all of the angles or all of the sides are the same length, right? So we're going to make the height of the cube 0.5. Now instead of making another sketch, we're actually going to, under the 3D modeling tab up here, we're going to go ahead and click extrude. This is probably the most important feature for 3D modeling. So you see how it extrudes, how it brings it up here. So since we want a cube, we're going to make this 0.5, and let's click OK, and it should fill in the gap for you, and there you go. You have a cube right here. You can check it out any way you want, and that should be it. So you can play around with that, check out all the different orientations of it, all that. So remember, you can't change the dimensions of your cube. Let's say you want this to be 0.6, like let's say you messed up, right? Let's say one side is 0.6, one side's 0.5. Now, in order to change this, you actually have to go back to your sketch. When you see up here how it says finish sketch, you have to go back to your sketch before you hit finish sketch, and you have to go ahead and change your dimension here. Let's make it 0.5 again. And remember, if you just eyed it and you don't have a dimension, you can click the dimension tool under the sketch tab, dimension right here, and go ahead and click that. Since I already set a dimension on it, it'll tell me that I already set one. I'll let cancel, but if you don't have one, you can go ahead and use the dimension tool. So let's go ahead and finish sketch. Let's extrude it one more time. So remember, 3D modeling tab, go to extrude, and it should highlight the face for you. If you have multiple faces, you might have to highlight them by yourself. We'll figure that out later, but you can do any length or any height you want, and all you have to do is change the distance A number right here. Let's say we want to make it 5 inches. And let's resize. See how it's really tall now? But make that back into a cube. So another thing is, if you don't want this to go upwards, let's say you already built something and you want it to go downwards, you can actually change the direction of it. So let's flip it, and it should go downwards. If we click OK, it actually goes downwards relative to the plane here. And then we have symmetric, and yeah, asymmetric, you can change it. But for now, I'm just going to use the default. Let's click OK. Everyone should have a cube. So let's move on to, let's make a cylinder, yeah? So we can actually delete this entire cube by going to this tab right here. You see this bar right here. Go ahead and hover over extrusion 1. You see how it highlights all the parts for me. Just right click it and just delete it. And it's going to consume all the sketch and features. That just means the sketch of the square we made is going to be deleted also. Let's click OK, and we should have a blank screen. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Actually, yeah, let's undo that. I forgot you guys need to save this. So yeah, go ahead and save the part we made before with the 2D sketches and the cube we made. Save both of those into your folder. You might be using them later. So if we minimize this, we go in here, and my part is saved there. I didn't name my part, but you should name your part just for clarity, because once you have a bunch of parts going, it's kind of hard to figure out which part is which, and you don't want to go through all of them. Okay, so everyone have their cube and their sketches saved into their folder. If everyone has that, we can make a new part, just like before. File, new, and click part. And we're going to start another 2D sketch. You guys want to do it on, which plane do you guys want it on? Let's do a different plane. Actually, it's getting boring. Let's do on the YZ plane. So this time we're going to make a cylinder, just like before. Go ahead and click the circle. Boom. You can drag it out any size you want. I'm going to make mine 1 inch. And I'm going to hit escape because I'm not going to make another circle. And finish sketch because we finished the base of the cylinder. Remember, you can't, well, I guess you can make the curve part, but that's just way too much work. It's better just to make the flat surface. And then let's click extrude. It extrudes for me. Make this one 2 inches. Okay. And if I come out here, I should have a cylinder. Okay, we'll get started again, yeah? We have a I'm trying to finish by 4:20, I'd say, because we have a challenge model for you guys. Uh-oh. All right, so let's go ahead and make a new part. I'm gonna teach you guys how to stack layers. So, file, new part, right here. All right, so let's stack some stuff. So what do you guys want to stack? You want to do, let's do some rectangles. So go ahead, start 2D sketch. Let's click the XZ plane because that's easiest. And we're gonna make a rectangle. Click on the or hover over the origin until it turns green, and go ahead and resize your rectangle to any size you want. I'm just gonna make mine 1 inch by, 1 inch. 11's a bit too big. Resize. We're gonna have this, and I'm gonna finish the sketch. So, next up, we're gonna extrude this. I'm gonna make this like 0.5. Oh, 0.5. Click OK, and we should have a, I don't know what it's called, not a cube, a long cube. Okay, no worries, Mama. Go ahead and open back open your inventor back up, and any height you want, honestly. Just don't make it like insane because it'll be hard to manage. Just make it whatever you want. So, oh, another thing. So after we finish the 2D sketch, if we extrude out, we can start another 2D sketch on top of the sketch, on top of the model we already made. So you see how I can highlight different planes? Right now we're gonna highlight the top plane right here. And you see how it brings me to the top right here. So right now I can edit anything on the top of this box. So let's make another rectangle just on the top of this box. Let's make it in the center, so we stack it just like that. You can just eye it. I just eyed it, and then press escape since we're not going to make a new square. And let's click finish sketch, and you see how we have a box on top, or I guess a 2D sketch on top of a 3D sketch. You can go ahead and extrude this one. Let's make it I just made mine 0.5. You don't have to follow me, just whatever looks right to you. But we should have a smaller box on top of a larger box. Everyone have this? Okay, so same thing as before. So, undo. Okay, so go ahead, start 2D sketch. So go back to start 2D sketch. Instead of giving you the planes, they're gonna not do anything and just let you choose which plane you're gonna edit. So go ahead and hover over the top until it turns green. Left click it, and you're able to edit the top of the box. Now remember, this is a 2D sketch, so we're only able to edit the top of it, not anything else. If we try to edit this part, it's not gonna work out too well since it's a flat plane and that one's standing up. So we're gonna make a rectangle here, like that. Press escape. And the first box, yeah, just use the extrude function just like we did for the cube and the cylinder. And finish sketch. So go ahead, we have this up here. This is a 2D sketch on top of a 3D sketch. And we're gonna extrude this out. And we're gonna click OK. Now we have a box on top of a box. Okay, so everyone has this. And now I'm going to show you how to use the chamfer and fillet functions. So you see how next to extrude, or not next to extrude, next to create, under the create tab, we have modify on the right of it. So we have the fillet and chamfer. So these are just for your edges and corners and all that. So fillet gives you a rounded. So once you click fillet, it gives you a pop-up. And basically the radius, it looks confusing, but essentially all you have to do is click in an edge, and let's click that edge. And this is the radius, which just means the radius of the circle that we draw here, essentially. We can make this, let's say 0.25, okay. And you see how this part is curved now? That's what the fillet function does. So if we go over here, you see how this is curved. So this is really useful for models because sometimes you need a curved edge and whatnot. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But not only that, but we can click multiple edges and it will help us do that. So I guess we can click this edge and we're gonna move our orientation around. So you see how we're right here? I'm gonna move to the other corner so I can get this corner right here. So I'm gonna click this, moves our orientation. I can click this right here, and boom, we have a dome-looking shape. I know it might not look too good with all the lines, but once you have your model down, it looks pretty nice. Now we're gonna move on to the chamfer here. So it's just next to fillet up here. And this one makes flat edges. So you see how it's flat now instead of the round like up here? You can do that for all these corners. Just like that. You can even do edges here. Again, I'm gonna switch my orientation since I can't reach that last part. Right here. and get that edge right there. We can also change the distance, which is from here to there, from edge to edge. And let's make it 0.25. That seems a bit, oh, that seems a bit big. Yeah, let's do 0.125. I think it's too big. So 0.125, and we should have this. That's pretty cool. So if everyone's good, let's move on to the last thing before the challenge, yeah? So let's go ahead and make one more new part. We're also gonna save this into your folder. No worries. So let's start another 2D sketch on the XZ plane. Everyone should be pretty familiar with this by now. Let's make a flat 3D model. So we're gonna do rectangle. Go ahead and make it like that. Just eye it. And finish the sketch. Everyone should have this. Just like before, we're gonna extrude it out. But since we want it flat this time, let's make it just a bit smaller. Let's do 0.4. Oh, that's too big. Yeah, that seems about right. So 0.1. And we should have a flatter surface, or a larger surface with not a lot of height, yeah? So now I'm gonna teach you how to cut through a 3D model. So there's like the different functions, but for now, I think the simplest and easiest to manage is through 2D sketching. So start 2D sketch. We're gonna click the top layer again, and then we're gonna resize our screen. And let's see, what should we make? You guys want to make a smile? Yeah, let's make a smiley face. Well, I guess it's not really a smiley face, it's more like a smiley cube. Okay, let's go ahead, click circle for the eyes. Just eye this, it doesn't have to be perfect. I know mine isn't. And instead of actually making another circle, let's go ahead and click escape. I know we're gonna have two eyes, that's why we're gonna go here. Click it once, left click it once, and then hit Control-C to copy it, and then click out, so it's purple again, Control-V to paste it. So everyone should have two circles just like this. Now, to move this second circle, you have to go to the middle of the circle right here and move it here. And then you see how the dotted line aligns me with it, just like in Google Slides or something. Right here, and we can put that right there. So next, we're gonna have to make a smile. So let's use an arc, right? Because a smile is like a curve. Let's align it right under the eyes and right there. So one thing is make sure it's aligned evenly. So to do that, you see the degree, I can't really hover over it, but once you get it on the line there, you can hit tab and put this at 0 degrees. Just to make it, you see how this is even with each other? I can't really show it, but you see how that's even? We can drag it down, let's make a smile. Now, since this is a 2D sketch, we have to make a space to make the smile a 3D, or something that we can build onto. We can't use a 2D sketch with only one line here, so we'll have to make an enclosed area. So let's go ahead, click line, let's drag it out just a tiny bit, hit escape, same thing on this side. Actually, we should probably make it the same. So click dimension, you see how long this line is, it's 0.024. Let's do the same here. So 0.024. Here, everyone have this? So we're gonna go ahead and click arc again, and remember, start point, it's green, end point is also green. And let's just drag it out, and we can just eye this one. That just looks kind of creepy, doesn't it? Let's click escape. Yeah, I'm sorry about this, guys. Maybe yours might look better. This just looks like a nightmare. Okay, no worries. Okay, so once everyone has this, we're just gonna ignore the nose for now because who needs a nose, right? Okay, let's click finish sketch. So you see how we can see our sketch here. You can go ahead and click extrude here. Yeah, we're extruding it, but we're gonna cut it. So you see how it doesn't automatically highlight it for me. That's because I have to select the different faces I want to extrude. So go ahead, I'm gonna click this, and you see how I can't click this line because it's only one line. I have to make an enclosed area. You see how this is enclosed inside the circle, this is enclosed, and you click this, but I can't click this line. So that's why you need an enclosed area to extrude. So we don't want it going out this way. We want a block, yeah, we want a block that's cut into it, right? Just like a, let's see, what's a good analogy? Like a water jet? I don't know if that makes sense, but go ahead in the extrude pop-up, everyone still has this, right? Don't click OK, but come here, you can click under output, cut, right here, and it cuts through the block for you. Another thing is, you see how this one is joined, which means it makes it, I guess, adds stuff, and then cut takes out. So it just depends on what you want to do. You can also change the direction here, which if you aligned it different, you can join it out here, or you can just cut it down here. So we're gonna cut out this. Click OK. That doesn't look too bad. Look, it's smiling. Okay, it's kind of bad, but that's not the point. So we learned how to use extrude to cut through a 3D model. So go ahead and save this into your folder also, and I will pull up the challenge. Sure. All right, I'm gonna put up the challenge. Now it might look a bit overwhelming, but it's honestly pretty simple once you look at it. Let's see, how do I do this? Okay. Click it. Okay. So remember to save this into your folder, and this is your challenge. So you're gonna make a blockhead just like this. Now, you see how these numbers look pretty intimidating, right? But they're just the numbers for your dimensions. So everyone remembers how to use dimension, right? Yeah, this is why I left 20 minutes for this one. So this is these are a bit more realistic numbers here. And yeah, go ahead and try it out. These are the dimensions for whatever parts you're trying to you use. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in chat. Good luck.